What is going on, Cigar Club family? Welcome back to another episode right here on the Cigar Club podcast. I am joined with none other than David Pugh as we gear up for the biggest trip of the year. Tell him, DP.
Going to the Dominican Republic, La Isla, go see our good friend Hostos, and be my first factory visit, my first trip to the Dominican Republic. And to say we are fired up would be the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking for just myself.
Oh, God,
I don't know,
no.
Dave.
Pew,
I need you to be a little bit more excited about this.
No, trust me, I'm fired up, Pew. Been sending you photos all week as I get them from Hostos. He's got like 10 or 12 sample blends waiting for us that we've been kind of going back and forth with him on for next year's customs projects, since La Isla is going to be the home of Cigar Club Customs 2022 and potentially beyond. We're having him prep a bunch of blends for the first half of the year, and that's going to be 80% of our focus while we're there. So we just need to dive into this topic real quick. For those of you who are new here to the podcast, you'll see brand interviews, you'll see product releases, you'll hear about geeky cigar reviews, but you'll also hear a lot about what we're up to and give you that kind of behind the scenes look into the cigar making process, which we got to talk a little bit about that here. This is a prime time to set the stage for what's to come. It was about 2 years ago, year and a half, year plus, that I went to a factory for the first time. Pew's first time is tomorrow, people.
I'm so excited. I mean,
let's talk expectations, what you're excited about, what you're kind of like, I have no clue how this is going to work. Set the stage for the people.
Yeah. You gave me a call, a week ago? Hey, is your passport up to date? Is it expired? I'm like, it's coming up soon. I hope it is. You want to go to the Dominican Republic next week? Yes, please. Yes, please. So,
I'm frozen in my yesness.
I was hoping, bucket list item, right? And was hoping that I'd have the opportunity this year, but wasn't sure. We were coming up on the end of the year, and then got that call, and I just immediately called Bailey and like, hey, going to the Dominican Republic. We're gonna go see Hostos at La Isla. I think I'm most nervous about just the intimidation factor of blending a cigar, and the artwork, the masterful kind of blending process that goes into it that Hostos does, and that you've had the opportunity to see and do, and seeing that for the first time is certainly going to be intimidating and not looking like an idiot. You always tell the story of going to a factory and not having a lighter, a cutter, and having a pinch. And I'm waiting for that because I still don't pinch my cigar, so can't wait for that experience. But just trying not to seem like I don't know what I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing, and being able to keep up and following along with you and Hostos.
Honestly, I think that's part of the fun of it. One, I'm still learning too, so I think that's kind of the exciting part, is like, I can give you the layman's terms, you have no clue what you're doing instruction manual from me, which is like, this is what they mean, this is what we're about to do, here's how I can like really make it black and white. But then you also get the mastery of Hostos, who's still the most approachable blender factory owner I've ever come in contact with. So that's a double win. Mm-hmm. And the triple win, they use a cutter in the DR, or at least at La Isla. Yes. They're cutter people. So perfect. Except when the only time you might not is probably when you're on the table doing like a hands-on blending session, but that's just because they don't put a cap on it anyway. So you have nothing to cut. The only time you're cutting is if you're sharing a cigar and you're like, you cut off an inch of it so somebody else can taste it.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. I've tried a few times, and I feel like I'd either just can't get enough of the cap off, or I take too much of it off, and now I'm into the shoulder, and it starts to unravel. I guess it's a talent that I'll eventually acquire. But
in that case, we definitely are going to go no cutters, and you're just going to learn it at the factory. It's easier too there because all the cigars are wet, so it doesn't like crack.
Have you ever bit off the cap?
No.
I've seen people do that, and I'm just like, how did you not just eat half your cigar? Not for me.
I guess
I'd rather pinch than bite.
They probably do eat half of their cigar. But Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be. This is probably becoming such a really cool thing about Cigar Club as a company in whole is we're all this level of cigar geek that are getting these first time experiences, right? And
honestly, I don't think I would want it to be with anyone other than Hostos. He just seems, from talking with him and the interviews that we've done with him, he just has this really comforting persona, and he really doesn't seem like he's, judging you or talking over you. And he seems just as excited about getting his hands on different varietals of tobacco and experimenting with them. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with how much your knowledge in cigars / your knowledge in just what you want will translate to actually making a cigar. I think there's going to be a big learning gap in the process of everything, or maybe how sexy it looks from the outside versus what it really is when you're there. That's, to me, the biggest discrepancy. But other than that, it's just going to be really cool to be able to say, try this, try that. And you have someone like Hostos who doesn't say no. And he doesn't really laugh even if he thinks it's going to be bad. He's like, he lets you it could be good. Let's try it.
Yeah, he kind of lets you fail from your mistakes and learn from your mistakes to see why that didn't work, even though he may have known prior that it wasn't going to work. The way I'm approaching it is like developing a recipe, right? Here's what you think it's going to be, and then once you make it the first time, you're then pulling back on here and pushing forward on there to finalize that experience. So that's how I'm approaching it, and I'm curious to see whether or not it's anything like cooking in that regard.
Yeah, and if you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube right now and you're in that position of, man, a bucket list item for me is blending a cigar, going to a factory. All I have to say is keep an eye out over the next 2 weeks at the content that we're releasing, because that's something that we want to continually bring people. And whether that's me and Pugh find a way to do a podcast there at maybe the blending table, and we blend the cigar on the podcast. I think that could be really cool to do. You'll see vlogs come out of this trip. You'll see behind the scenes stories on each of the 6 Cigar Club customs that we're going to be blending on this trip. And then beyond that, if you guys don't know, we've recently released the one, the only, the Purito box, which gives you...
Finally.
Literally, finally. I can't believe it's taken us
this long. And I mean that in a sense of that was like one of our first podcasts that we did. And
number 3.
It's now come... Yeah, I mean, it was early on, and that was, once again, another bucket list item, be able to smoke Puritos and be able to find a way to capture that experience that I had and be able to get that to everyone else who probably on their bucket list as well. If you're buying that box, I'm really excited to see everyone get those and all the stuff that we have coming out around the Purito box.
Yeah, I would recommend it if this is something that's very interesting to you. Check that box out. It's $50. You get 4 Puritos, 3 fully blended cigars that incorporate all 4 of those Puritos, which are individual tobacco cigars, or little cigarillo kind of looking things. That's going to give you that blending, a piece of the blending experience, without having to fly to a different country to do it. That's one step closer than, I think, from our research at least, that's one step closer that you can get to the blending experience than anywhere else that's available on the market right now. And that's why we did the project. Sure. You can't do that anywhere.
And we've got, I think are we doing a Zoom around that? I think we're doing a live Zoom with that. We've got
in the next 2 weeks
a video with Hostos himself while you were there last time, going over that whole smoking process and kind of the progression through it. So if you've got your box and you can hold off on smoking it, I probably a great idea to smoke along with that video that we'll be releasing here in the future.
Pugh, I want to know what the number one thing you're looking forward to seeing is.
Probably pilons of tobacco.
Okay.
And being able to smell what that overwhelming sense of here's more tobacco that I've been around ever in my life. We kind of got a glimpse of it, or I kind of got a glimpse of it when we were in New Orleans.
Yep.
At the New Orleans Social Club.
Yep.
And that was kind of like just a small taste, I think, of what it'll probably be like at La Isla.
I think you'll also enjoy the idea of grabbing something from the pilon and letting Hostess, burn it and him say, smell this aroma, or watch me burn a hole through this leaf. Let's see how it burns. That's going to tell you what level of combustion we have, or the oil contents, or I mean, the mad scientist version behind all of that should be, pretty cool as well. And I think something that's going to be really, really neat. I'm not answering your question for you, but you've smoked a lot of cigars from La Isla, so that kind of when you jam the foot of a cigar up to your nose, if it's your cigar, not at a cigar shop.
Yes.
You know that smell.
Not one in a humidor.
When you walk into the La Isla aging room, it's that smell times a billion. And it's going to be like, oh, I smell Chinchale, I smell Apereo, I smell all these different cigars, and they're all just going to be sitting there. So anyway, I'm really excited to be a part of this trip with you coming out for the first time, blend a couple cigars with you, you've got one that's coming out that's a special cigar that you're working on with minimal supervision. Basically the supervision needed to blend a cigar when you don't speak Spanish. That supervision not coming from me. But which is scary. Yeah, that is going to be, it's going to be a great trip. So
it's going to go too quickly. I'll put it that way.
Count yourself lucky. You're not going to be forced to eat any seafood as a hazing situation.
Thank you for learning that for me. I'm really glad that I won't have to. Was it seafood risotto?
Seafood
that
risotto.
That one is officially off the menu.
Yeah, that's officially off the American menu. But yeah, no, it's going to be a great time. We're going to be vlogging the trip. We're shooting podcasts. Matt Hunt from FQ Cigars, for those of you who know and love FQ, he's going to be there this week. He's coming in probably the Wednesday and the Friday that we're there, and we're going to be working on the next Cigar Club exclusive with FQ out of the La Isla factory.
That's going to be
so
awesome.
We're going to be
too.
blending
I
that
totally
one
forgot about that
with 3 people, which is pretty cool, and kind of seeing what do we come up with that is an expression of FQ and Cigar Club. And beyond that, I think it's going to be a really great time. So stay tuned, everybody. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for all the new content that's going to be coming out over the next 2 weeks as we kind of unveil this trip that we've kind of been excitingly awaiting, the last factory trip of 2021. It's crazy to think that this is my 3rd trip to the DR this year. And that was March, I think, the first time I went with Omar from Fratello Cigars. Then went down there, me and Ramsey, to see Hostos for the week, and now going back to do that again. We're at that point now as Cigar Club where we've kind of found a great home there to make and create cool cigars. And
good for Hostos. Hostos is on the map. I mean, everywhere you look, La Isla, the sign is on Instagram, and you love to see it.
Dude, you get to get a photo in front of the neon sign.
Trust me. It's already on there. Things to do is make sure I get that photo. But Dave, think about this. We're wrapping up here 2021. Yep. We're about to go into the 2nd year of customs. Think back on your first trip to blend Ocho. I mean, could you imagine just starting round 2, starting it all over again?
Yeah, that's one of those things I actually forgot about when we made it a subscription was, this isn't just for this year. Like, we're going to do this every year. And I think what's really exciting is we're ending this year with the first ever one, which is Algo Sincero, that we released before Customs was a subscription. It was a one-off kind of test project to see if what we really wanted to do would resonate with our family at Cigar Club. And it was May of 2020, right? Yeah. May of 2020, we launched Algo Sincero. So. We made like 750 cigars or something like that.
I've never even smoked it. I never even got one of those. They were gone before I could even get one. I smoked
my last one a couple months ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna, I know this is the first. It's really exciting, but I was like, I'm not going to actually hold on to this one. I really wanted to remember it again, and it was kind of in the middle of the craziness of this year and keeping customs on track, and we had all these actual immigration customs issues with customs and shipping and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go back in time for a second. Remember how exciting it was to smoke this blend. And so we're bringing it back for December. It's unbanded again, just like it was when we released it. We're not changing anything. Same size, same exact blend. So if you missed out on the first one, this is your chance to get it again. and it's called Algo Sincero. And it's made at the Tabacalera La Perla factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, in partnership with Rodriguez Cigars. And boom, it's going to be the way we kind of end this with a bang going into 2022, where we've already got the first one blended, and then the next 5, we're going down there to kind of spearhead and begin that journey, which is amazing.
It's a perfect capstone / kind of bookend to Customs Year 1.
Yes.
Right? Taking it back to where you started, the kind of dip the toe in the water to figure out if there's a desire for Customs, and there was, and then now we're going to be able to bring that back and kind of end 2021 with where it all started.
It's going to be real. Keep your eyes peeled, people. All right. So beyond DR coming this week, beyond Customs, beyond the Purito box, we wanted to do a quick high-level update on the cigar industry, some cool stories that we've seen break over the past week or so that I think will be good to share with all of you who maybe aren't as up to date with everything happening in the cigar industry. Me and Pugh can kind of share our takes on it. This is the part of the podcast where we're talking cigar news and releases. Open us up and start us off, Mr. Pugh.
I was hoping you were going to pass it. If not, I was going to steal it. I want to talk about one that I am super excited about, and I think you will be as well, and probably most of the people listening, is the recent announcement the other day. Crown Head teases a new Mil Diaz limited edition Magicos. It's a 4.5 by 52, which is the same dimension as the Cuban Cohiba Magicos. And we all know my love for Mil Diaz. It was my favorite cigar. Was it 2020?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was Cigar
It's been a long
Club's,
year. It's been a long 2 years.
It was also Cigar Club's favorite cigar of 2020. Voted by the people.
It was. And we had the previous limited edition. What was that one called? Edmundo or something like that? What was it? The Edicia Escondidos.
They're like Churchill sized.
That was that was another Cuban mold style of Vitola, and they're doing the same thing with Magicos here, kind of
so
paying
cool.
Respect to those Cuban style cigars. But give me as many Mil Diaz as you can. Give me as many different Vitolas and sizes to be able to smoke and compare to. So I saw that one, I was like, I'm going to need some of those.
I'm so obsessed with that cigar, with that blend in general. They could release a new size every year, and I will buy it. It really doesn't matter to me.
Absolutely. I mean,
I don't even care if they all taste perfectly the same or like they're part of that general blend profile in the tobacco they use is so incredibly nuanced and flavorful. It's just a magical cigar.
It's fantastic. I mean, we were Bailey and I were at in Atlanta this weekend. We went to the Rocky Patel Burn Lounge.
Nice.
And I'm in this humidor, and it's been a while since I've been in a humidor. It's probably the first time I've been in a humidor where someone's guiding you. So you're not just walking in there and picking up your sticks, obviously due to COVID, but also part of the experience is having someone pick out a cigar for you based off whatever you wanted to smoke or what you were going to drink. So I'm in this humidor. I still get overwhelmed. You walk into a humidor, you want to smoke everything. So I'm like, all right, I want to smoke Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper or something in Robusto, and they didn't have any, but took me over to where there's some of the Connecticut's was. I got myself a High Claire Castle Connecticut, great stick. But Bailey wanted a cigar, and I'm looking through everything, and I see Mil Diaz, Corona Gorda. I was like, yep, grab that for her. And I don't know if she smoked one of mine while I was smoking one, couple puffs here, but that was the first time she smoked a whole one. And she paired it with Michter's Single Barrel Rye, and it was phenomenal. She loved that stick, and it's up there to me with probably Kintsugi and Sereno Wayfarer as far as like a go-to cigar, either for myself or for someone else. Maybe if they don't know what they're going to smoke, if I see any of those three cigars, it's a pick up in hand.
Yeah, it's actually pretty freaky how similar we have taste for cigars as far as our palates go. That was a really weird way to say we have similar palate. But those three cigars also to me are super special because there's something about a cigar that is delicate. Like if you're not retrohaling, if you're not like paying attention to it, you're not getting the full experience that I really like. It doesn't need like a big dark oily wrapper, a ton of strength or something to taste amazing, like a lot of great cigars do. These are those cigars that have like quiet strength. It's like subtle, nuanced. It takes you on this like roller coaster of flavors, and that is to me like a telltale for an incredible blender and factory that can nail such a nuanced blend over and over and over again. And also I really, really can't wait for you to smoke Hayati, because that was kind of the mindset going into blending that cigar, was how do I create a cigar truly ground up that I'm obsessed with, that hits that mark of like, there is a little tiny bit of strength in Hayati, but it's this crazy transition, base note of bread, and then throw the whole cabinet of spices at me throughout the cigar.
Oh, just pour it all into a pot and transition through each of those. No, I'm gosh, there's so many cigars that we're going to be smoking that weekend, and I don't know, Hayati might be one of the ones that I'm most looking forward to. Obviously, I have the one that I'm blending, but I've heard you talk about Hayati so much, I'm really looking forward to experiencing that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping it'll be one of the first we go for and light up.
Fresh palate, please. I don't need to smoke that on Friday on the way out where I just can't taste anything.
I want you to smoke fresh and early, because it's going to be pretty cool. So I was also doing some digging of some cool things coming up, and we just got an email from our good friend Hector over at Villiger Cigars about some new cigars, not new to the market, but just some cigars we're going to be putting in new boxes here at Cigar Club. For you guys who've been members of any given length of time, you know that we are big fans of Villiger and what they do. They make cigars at a few different factories. However, they just announced that they're opening their very own factory in Esteli, Nicaragua.
One of my favorite places.
What? Esteli?
Esteli?
Oh,
I mean, come on now.
It's like, what, do you go to Esteli all the time on vacation or something?
It's just it's my second home. No, just the fact that it's in Esteli, which is my favorite region, growing region or tobacco region of Nicaragua. I'm really excited to see them open up that factory.
Modern as hell.
Beautiful. I'm looking at these photos
here. It's really cool. I know that there will be an invite on the table for sure for us to go down there and see that, which is really cool. But cigars that we put in, the Sandoro, La Vencedora, the La Libertad, and the Meridiana, which I'm not too familiar with, those are all moving production to there. So a lot of those were made at Joya de Nicaragua. One of those was made in the DR, I believe, at La Palma with Hoji Blanco. They're moving them all to their own house, and I think that is exciting. Villiger's been around for well over 100 years. So this being the first time they're opening their very own flagship factory, you have to assume it's going to be epic with the knowledge and the time they've been a part of premium cigars.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at here, looks like it'll be 33,000 square feet, including 80 rollers with them wanting to expand in the near future. I mean, that's going to be great. I'm really excited to see if any of the blends change now that they have their own factory in Nicaragua. I'm not too sure what their tobacco integration looks like, but just to see what they can come out of there with, and really the opening up to new projects as well, not even just their existing lines moving those, but what they're able to come out of there for the future.
I'm really, truly am excited to see that. I honestly think you'll see maybe even better cigars coming out of there. Just the fact that they get to have a hand on it, or not. But this is going to be a really strong telltale of what kind of company Villiger is with how they open their own factory. There's no middleman anymore. There's no, this factory messed up something in the order. No, this is your factory, your rollers, your sorters, your quality control people now.
You have to think that they did that research, right? Like
you would hope so before you open a 33,000 square foot
you would hope
factory.
That you've got the logistics worked out. Gosh, though, I mean, I guess you went to La Isla just as La Isla was opening, but I can't imagine the stress that's involved in transitioning your production from one factory to a brand new, your own factory. I don't know if they brought in their own rollers from their other factory. You would assume that the rollers that were previously rolling their cigars stayed at whatever factory they were in at the time. So you're bringing in new rollers, new production, logistics. Crazy to think about all the behind the scenes that goes into opening your own factory, either your own or your brand new. But you had a little, you've seen that with Hostos. I'm sure he's talked about that, and I'm sure he will talk about that because I'll probably ask him when we're there.
Yeah, every time I go back, he's grown a little bigger. There's more people. First went there was 6 people working there, and then there was 25, and now I think he's north of that in the 30 range. And there's so many working parts. Before tobacco hits the table, even for the rollers to create the cigar. And you got to do it right. You can't cut corners, or else you're not going to be known as factory people want to make cigars at or smoke cigars from.
So I'm going to move us to the next one. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is because I think you're going to make fun of me. So Oliva. Thank you. Well, there's the start of that. Serie V Molino has a new size. And the reason you'll make fun of me is I've never smoked one before.
What? You've never smoked an Oliva Serie V? What is it, Milano? Yes.
Nope, never smoked it. And
blows my
it is
mind.
like a classic.
That is a cigar.
That's
as cigar as it gets.
Go-to cigar. Exactly. I mean, I hear about this sucker all the time. It's won numerous top accolades for
that surprises
Cigar Aficionado. I've never smoked it. As soon as I saw this news, I was like, all right, I need Dave to roast me. But they're coming out with a 4x60 limited edition box pressed. So maybe I'll finally get over my reluctance to smoke one. I don't know. I don't have an excuse of why I haven't. It hasn't fallen into my lap or I've come across it where, maybe I've seen it, but I went for something else. But yeah, never smoked one before, and I've heard nothing but great things about that cigar.
I really enjoy their box pressed Robusto. I think is my favorite size in the V lineup. That literally blows my mind that you haven't smoked that cigar. It's like it's so classic.
It's just so
I haven't
classic.
smoked it in a while.
I know. I see it everywhere.
Just like I don't, you meet anybody and they're like, "Oh, I like the Oliva V." And it's like, "Yep, of course you do. Everybody likes the cigar."
And I just go, I just nod my head, but I haven't experienced it.
Just by how many times I've heard that, I'm just going to agree that it's a good cigar. Okay, well, we're going to have to find you. Maybe you need to smoke one of those on a podcast.
Yeah, but here, just to show how great of a cigar that was, 2014, the Figurado size was named Cigar of the Year.
Wow.
That was right when I started smoking, like actually getting into cigar smoking was 2014, so I don't know. I missed the mark, and I guess I was one of those. I didn't want to be jumping on the bandwagon, so I just haven't smoked it. But I need to. I will. Maybe I'll smoke one of these. If not, I'll smoke something. The Torpedo one looks really nice, though. It's got that nice...
It does.
I don't know. Kind of looks like a V to me, so it kind of fits with the name of the cigar. But yeah, never smoked it. And I'm sure everyone's listening over there has, and they're all yelling at me. Probably lose my Palette Prince title. Just be... I don't even know. Just be David. Just be Pugh.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you haven't smoked the Oliva V. This next article is one that you definitely won't ever choose to smoke. I can almost guarantee you.
Oh, gosh.
And that is the Asylum 9x90 April Fool's cigar.
Nope.
What? One of the largest cigars literally to ever go on sale. 9 inches and a 90 ring gauge. What? $40 a cigar comes in a coffin that literally a human could fit into.
Jesus. I don't think I have enough time to sit down and smoke a 9x90.
I don't think my mouth opens wide enough.
4 or 5 hour cigar? I don't even want to try. The biggest ring gauge I've smoked is a 60 gauge.
Same.
And I know Asylum has like a 70 or an 80
the ones you always see people smoking are the 7x70s. I think they have an 880 or a 780. But I was saying we were in Pittsburgh and I saw a lot of guys smoking the 80 gauge Asylums, just throwing them back.
I was at Burn. I'm sitting there.
Definitely.
The Braves parade's going by. Dude sitting at the window, prime spot. And he had the perfect cigar for a prime spot because it looked like he was smoking a foot-long hot dog. Oh. I mean, this may have been an early 9x90 because it was probably the biggest cigar that I've ever seen in my life. Dude was posted up, and he was going to be there for 6 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have no issue if you enjoy larger ring gauge or longer cigars. There is a huge market for it, just not for me. I think probably a lot of it is just I don't have the time to smoke a cigar that big, and I don't want to waste the cigar, but also waste the money on a cigar that I certainly wouldn't be able to enjoy for that duration. But in this case, he had the perfect cigar for the event that he was at, because that was a long, long day, and it was absolutely crazy atmosphere.
Oh, I can't imagine being there for that.
Being right outside the stadium. But a 9x90. Would you smoke
No.
it if someone gave you one?
I would smoke it with a camera in front of me just to like do it.
Yeah.
But
how do you cut that?
But it would be reluctant,
I guess you got
because I don't smoke anything over 60. I don't even smoke 60s. Like 54 is where it stops for me. And that's just personal preference. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I go back and forth. There's like this part of the cigar industry that is super, how do I say this? Like, that's been very Americanized, where you smoke the largest, darkest cigar, and that's like what's cool. And like that's a real cigar.
Yeah.
And that's just the total opposite of what I ever grab. So you'll pretty much never see me grab an Asylum unless somebody hands it to me and is like, smoke this right now. You have to. It's like, all right, okay. But I mean, I'm the, 44 to 50 kind of guy, ring gauge. And this is literally double that.
Double. What, do you got to get a chef's knife out to cut the cap
you
off
need
of it?
freaking hedge trimmers, dude. That's terrible.
Yes. They should come out with limited edition 90 gauge hedge trim
fire up a
cutters
chainsaw to
go
cut
along
this
with the
thing.
cigar.
No, it's to me way too big.
You have
I'm
to have
uninterested. I'm out on that.
I'm interested in how that gets rolled. Like, how do they bunch the tobacco
Whose hands?
for the binder and filler? Is it like a 10-man squad to hold that thing down? And then, like, where do you get the wrapper leaf? How do you have a wrapper leaf big enough to go around a 90 gauge ring cigar? It's got to be like, what, 15 wrapper leaves for one cigar? I don't even know.
I
want to see
dude.
it made.
It's a damn PP
I wanna see it
loan
made.
for a cigar in there. It's massive, and I'm out on it. Ramsey just said that I better smoke it on a show. We'll see, Ramsey. We'll see. But hey, that's for somebody, and we always say that it's about what you enjoy smoking. My personal preference, I'm not going to smoke that cigar. Again, there's going to be an upcoming circumstance where I do. But as a enjoyer of it, I'm like, if I'm just a consumer, I will never grab that cigar.
What if it's
to
really
quote
good?
Mike Tomlin,
Like, what if we're...
never say never, but never. There's not a blank check big enough to make me smoke an Asylum.
That's what I was trying to get out. But, like, I mean, I don't know. I think I would smoke it because I just need to know.
Hey, we'll see.
I need to know if there's, like, flavor transitions or if it's kind of like one note throughout.
We should play a prank on Hostos and
there's a market for
show up and say we want to make a 7x80 or 7x90 or something, and just watch his face, I don't know, crumble. It would be funny. It would be funny. Pew, what are you smoking over there? Are you going to share? We got to wrap this up with some cigar talk, some smoke talk here.
All right, you say this as I pull off the band, so let me unfurl the band. I'm smoking an Avo Classic.
Ooh.
There we
Beautiful.
are. Just a great all-around cigar. Any time of the day. I love this cigar with coffee in the morning, and I love this cigar at night with some Madeira. Ooh, we haven't talked about Madeira in so long.
No, we have not. I need a second.
Guys,
I need a second chance with it, I think.
You guys really put my flame out on that one, so I've just let that die. But no, this cigar pairs well with anything. It's a very I don't want to say neutral palate cigar, but it really lends itself for you being able to enjoy whatever beverage or pairing you want with it. It really kind of molds itself to whatever you're enjoying along with it.
Beautiful. What size?
This one is the number 2, which I believe is a Toro, and they've got all different kind sizes for whatever you'd like to smoke. But just a classic cigar. I mean, it's what
classic, a true classic.
It really hits the name on its head.
It's a true classic, folks. I've been We were smoking a bunch of pinkies out at our event this past weekend, which are for sale now, by the way, people. 4.5 by 48. The
As you're
pinky, the
listening.
2021 release. I just put 2 and 2 together when we were listing the product for sale, and I was like, wait a minute. We release this, the plans to release this once a year in the same time of year. This is a yearly release. That's kind of cool. So this is the 2021 release. We're never going to repeat
Love
a size, people. This year, the pinky.
I think that's
Go
fun.
get it.
I still have my original secondary band one. With that was HVC.
Yeah.
Did we have a? No, we had the new bands for the first release
Yep.
of Pinkies Out.
Yep.
Didn't we?
But you have the
Yeah.
OG HVC, which
Well,
is
I
the
lied.
first ever
But I still-
customs. Exclusive.
That's never
Yeah.
getting exclusive. Yeah, that's never getting smoked. But no, I still have a couple of the original Pinkies Out. I think I will leave at least one unsmoked. So as we have this yearly release, I can just take a photo of
Yes.
5 or 6 different Vitolas next to each other and see how the bands have changed or the what sizes that we offer. That'll
That's
be a cool
going to
photo.
be awesome. So if you haven't gotten it,
It's
if you
really
missed
hard
out
not to
last
smoke it,
year.
though.
If you got it last year, even more of a reason, get it this year. See how the size has changed this cigar and this blend. It's really, really cool. You can go to cigarclub.com/pinkies out and check that sucker out. All right. Me and Pugh need to go get packing.
Yes.
The DR is
boy.
upon us.
I'm nervous. I think I need to bring a secondary suitcase just to bring
Yeah.
home sticks. I'm worried I'm not going to have enough room and I'm going to have to leave
No,
sticks
you
at the
won't have to
table.
leave anything.
We'll leave the clothes.
Exactly. I don't need these. We don't need these. Nothing to be nervous about. We got bodyguard Ramsey with us, and we're gonna be good to go. Cigar Club family, as always, thanks for hanging out with us on the podcast. We're gonna finish this year out strong. We got a handful of episodes left until we launched season 2 next year. Get some new cameras, some new lighting.
Getting all new thing, new
New
budget. I mean,
we're gonna have a
Next
lot of
level.
guests on, even more so than we had this year. So a lot of cool stuff coming for that. Maybe even a live podcast or two. You never
maybe
know.
I'll re-earn my Palette Prince title and smoke a Series V.
Yes, you will need to do that, Pew. Anything you want to leave the people with?
No, looking forward to it. Obviously, we're leaving for the DR here in a few days, and looking forward to all the content that we'll be able to come out and kind of take people on that experience with me and
Yeah,
with you.
absolutely. It's going to be fun to share it with you. All right, Cigar Club family. Until next Tuesday, he's the Palette Prince. I'm Dave. This is the Cigar Club podcast. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Make sure you download this podcast and like the video on YouTube. Drop us a comment. Let us know you're listening, what your favorite part was. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great week. And happy smoking.
smoking.